I'd like to call this meeting of the Carpentersville Village Board to order. Chief, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Burroway.
Here.
Trustee Stevens.
Here.
Trustee Humford.
Here.
Trustee Sabi.
Here.
Trustee Rayburn.
Here.
Trustee Schultz.
Here.
President Ritter.
Here. We have no invocator here tonight, so we'll just rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Next thing is proclamations, congratulatory resolutions, and awards. And the first one is a proclamation about Terry Wilde, our newly retired village clerk.
Let me say something to him?
And I'm going to come down to the podium and
Take them off. You can't wear those in here.
and Bob, if you want to come forward and bring your
You
family
can't wear
along,
campaign
bring the
leaders.
family up to
Go
the
for
podium.
names. Thanks, Tim. Since when? Yeah. Can't wear campaign board meetings. You can't.
I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
Yeah, yeah. Been a while. So,
Anyway, this is a very difficult time for all of us because Terry was such an integral part of the village. We were sad to see her retire. Of course, you know we all wish her the very best for her future. And we have a proclamation. It's a little different than normal proclamations because they usually stick with facts. But in this case, this is written for Terry. And some of the things in here may not make any sense to anybody, but she'll know what we mean because they're inside jokes. So I guess you have to kind of take it as is. Anyway, proclamation, Terry Wilde Day. Whereas Terry Wilde is a long-term resident of the village of Carpentersville, and whereas Terry Wilde was appointed as village clerk on August 16th, 2004, and whereas Terry Wilde served the village with distinction as village clerk until her retirement on January 31st, 2017, and whereas Terry often admonished her friends and colleagues to speak now or forever hold your peace, it is appropriate for the village president to issue this proclamation now. And whereas, though she may not admit it, Terry Wilde knows exactly what this proclamation is talking about. And whereas no village official or employee touched Terry's stuff in writing or issuance of this proclamation, Terry was very protective of her stuff. And nobody, I got away with it once in a while going and moving something around on her desk, but nobody else did. I think that's just because I did it when she wasn't in the room. Whereas Terry often cautions to mind your business and honoring the village's officials for their hard work for the village and its residents is the business of the village president. She often told me that was my job, make sure everybody knows what a wonderful place Carpentersville is. Whereas the village of Carpentersville and its officials, employees, residents, property owners, and business owners have benefited greatly from Terry's diligence, wisdom, dedication, and professionalism, and will miss her presence, vast knowledge, kindness, and good humor. Now, therefore, I, Ed Ritter, President of the Village of Carpentersville, Kane County, Illinois, do hereby proclaim February 20th, 2017 as Terry Wilde Day in the Village of Carpentersville. And on behalf of the village, congratulate Terry on her retirement, thank her for her many years of honorable service to the village, and wish her the best for the future. Dated this 20th day of February 2017. And one day isn't enough. This is Terry Wilde year as far as I'm concerned. But we'll let you take that home to Terry. In addition, we know how much she likes flowers. We have some nice flowers to take home to her. Plaque for her years of service. And finally, some gifts, but again, like the proclamation, you're not going to understand it. Don't open the gifts. Let her do that. She will understand everything that's in the bag. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bob, do you want to say something?
Interrupt your meeting.
It's okay.
You know, Terry might watch this over, so you better be careful what you say.
You know, Terry used to tell me that she used to sit next to the police chief. And that
Pull the microphone around so
he had to take and put his gun on the other side, the outside, so she couldn't grab it. So, I'm sorry, but that's what you're in for. The girls kind of put together something, and Terry would like you to have it. It's just basically a letter of resignation. It says, it is with deep regret I submit this letter of resignation for my role as village clerk of Carpentersville. As you're aware, I've had a period of illness over recent months. My resignation is essential for me to focus on my health and will allow my position to be filled by someone with the ability to continue adding in the growth within the village. I send my well wishes to the new village clerk and remain available if I can assist her during the transition. While I regret leaving the fantastic staff and work environment of the village of Carpentersville, I know it's the best decision for me at this time. I am grateful for the experience as it has provided me, and I am honored to have been a part of the continued growth and success of the village of Carpentersville. Thank you for your support and the intention in this matter. Thank you for everything, including your support and patience over the past months. I would like to wish you all well in the future and wish the village of Carpentersville continued growth. Sincerely, yours sincerely, Terry Wilde, although that's not her signature. But.
Thank you very much, Bob.
Terry was very, very humbled and very honored by this, and sorry she couldn't be here. As most of you know, it was more than just a job. She, being a resident all her life, volunteered for whatever she could to help out and thought of it as more than just a job and a passion. So she will miss it dearly, and she misses, well, I won't say she misses these meetings, but most of them anyhow. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For many people, Terry was the face of the village. She was the first door when they came in, and people sometimes just stopped to visit with her. It was very common. We had a lot of senior citizens who just came in to talk to Terry because they always knew that she'd be friendly, greet them, and treat them with respect. And all the business people had to get their licenses from her, and liquor licenses and everything else. So she's probably better known in the village than anyone else here, I would say. I might be wrong on that, but not too far wrong. At this point, we're going to take a short break so that those of you who are here just for this can leave. And I think probably some of the trustees will want to come down and express their feelings to you and shake your hand and so forth. So we're going to just take a short recess of about 5 minutes.
Thank you.
But I'd let you know.
We do have
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
another proclamation today, a very interesting and pretty unusual proclamation for Lucy Schaefer, or Schaffer. I'm sorry, I don't know how to actually say her name. I've never met her.
I'm going to
but
go with Schaefer.
it's kind of an interesting thing. And Ginger will read the proclamation for us this evening, please.
This is kind of a tough one to follow. So, this is for Lucy Schaefer. I'm going with Schaefer because that just sounds right, even though it's spelled A-U. Whereas Lucy Schaefer was born and raised in Carpentersville, Illinois, and whereas she began her singing career as a teen performing in District 300 choirs and at Santa's Village, and whereas Lucy was in the last graduating class at Irving Crown High School, now Dundee Crown High School, in 1983 prior to studying music at Northwestern University, and whereas Lucy's first solo recording, Carpentersville, was released in 2013, and whereas she received 2 Grammy nominations this year for Best Opera Recording and Best Engineered Album, Best Engineered Album called Classical, for her work on Coriglione, The Ghost of Versailles by the LA Opera Chorus and Orchestra. I'm sorry, my glasses, I don't have my proper reading glasses, so... Whereas on Sunday, February 12, 2017, Lucy took home the Grammy for both categories in which she was nominated in. Now, therefore, I, Ed Ritter, President of Carpentersville, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, February 21st, as Lucy Schaefer Day throughout this village, dated and signed at the Village of Carpentersville, Kane County, Illinois, this 21st day of February 2017. Congratulations, Lucy.
Yes.
I found out just a bit ago, she actually lives in London now, so I guess she'll find out about this. We'll mail the plaque to her if we can get a correct address. But we haven't been able to find any real connections still with Carpentersville, although she was born and raised here, and her first song was Carpentersville, so she still must have some fond feelings for Carpentersville. Anyway, pretty interesting. A double Grammy winner in Carpentersville. I don't think we've ever even had a single Grammy winner that I remember in all that time. We have no appointments, confirmations, or administrations of oath. Do we have any public commenters this evening? No public comment. Consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda will be enacted by one motion. There'll be no separate discussion of those items unless a trustee so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Any items to be removed?
I'll motion to pass the consent agenda.
A second.
Motion Paul, second Ginger. Mike, call the roll, please.
Trustee Stevens.
Yes.
Trustee Humfer.
Yes.
Trustee Sabi.
Yes.
Trustee Rayburn.
Yes.
Trustee Schultz.
Yes.
Trustee Burraway.
Yes.
Few significant things on here. We're spending our motor fuel tax today, $689,000 in motor fuel tax money, and there's a list of various types of things we're using it for. And we're having the utility lines along Washington Avenue taken down and buried underground because it's a very distracting sight along that road with our beautiful riverfront to have the overhead utilities. And Washington will look a lot nicer in a few days because the 2 ugly Quonset huts that sit there have gotten demolition permission and will probably go down sometime this week. That will really change the character of that land along there. So several good things. Another event in Carpentersville, the Chamber of Commerce has their actual Chamber Fest on Saturday, July 15th, and they are applying for permission. And spring tree planting project, $61,000 of new trees for the village. All right, we're ready for reports of manager, officers, commissions, and staff. Mark, anything this evening?
Just want to recognize Director of Public Works, Robert Cole. Bob, if you would.
Thank you.
With the warm weather that we've been experiencing the last couple of weeks, the contractor for Carpenter Park has been quite active in the park. So I would just like to give you a brief update on what's been going on in the park. And to do this, I don't think that there's not a better way than to take a walk through the park. So let's take a walk. I started out at the band or at the stage, and we're walking east. Of course, this is the proposed path that will go around the outside perimeter of Carpenter Park. Prior to being asphalted, of course, it does need a final grading, and once the asphalt plants open up, well, then we'll have that path will be installed. As we walk south, we come to kind of like a little fork in the path. The path continues to go south, and then there's a little veer off to the right-hand side there. This is actually the path that goes on the outside perimeter of the stage. There will be trees planted on the outside of this path, and that'll give the stage a real nice amphitheater effect. As we continue to walk south, there will be 3 interpretive signs. This particular interpretive sign will have a drinking fountain, and that fountain will be good for humans as well as for little doggies as well. Continue to walk south. This is where there'll be 2 locations for interpretive signs with seating or benches. This is what the interpretive signs will look like. Of course, they'll be a little bit bigger. They'll actually be 2 feet by 3 foot in size. A local historian, Phil Alio, has provided a lot of the information for us for these signs, and we've been working very closely with Phil, and he's just doing a great job. Out with the old, this ugly bridge was installed probably a year or 2 ago. It was kind of beefed up because of all the vandalism that we do get on there at that location. However, we're going to replace it with a brand new, little bit more aesthetically pleasing bridge. And that bridge is actually under construction at Public Works, at the Public Works facility. Going down to the baseball field, this is the first base line. This will all be concrete, and this is where where the spectator bleachers and also the dugout will be located. And this will be on both the first base and third base lines. Baseball field infield, you can see how the infield has kind of been cut out already. The whole outside outfield that's been regraded, and they have been doing a lot of site work there this week, hauling a lot of material off site. Golf tee, we will have frisbee golf. I think nowadays they call that disc golf. This will be one of the tee boxes. This is just a cutout of the ground. That'll actually be all the ground will be taken out, and that'll be a concrete pad in there. And the concrete pad will have a hole number, a directional arrow to where the pin is, the par, and the distance to the pin. The gazebo, this is going up pretty quick. This is on Long Lord Avenue. There will be seating as far as a picnic table within the gazebo as well. The playground, a lot of fun colors. It'll be a pretty big playground. All the components have not yet been installed, but they will be probably within the next week or so. Porta potty enclosure, a lot nicer porta potty enclosure than the one that we had prior to. This is along the center service road that cuts through the center of the park. And there will also be a porta potty enclosure by the baseball field too, a single unit. The rain garden, which is just directly south of the parking lot, of course this will all be seeded when the weather changes. There'll be three or four paths that lead from the parking lot out into the park. During the project, we did some electrical upgrades in-house. All of the electric cable was buried directly in the ground. So Public Works came in, and we put in 4-inch conduit. We ran all new electric to all the lights in the park, as well as electric to the bigger, older pavilion with an electric box. That'll give everybody a chance to plug in their radios or boom boxes or whatever they're using there. Just like to switch gears a little bit now to tree replacement. Tonight you did approve a resolution accepting a proposal from Acres Group for tree installation. I just want to give you a quick update on that. Total ash trees inventoried when we first started our program 4 or 5 years ago was 2472. We've received, or we have removed 2303 ash trees, 169 remaining, and total ash trees replaced, which includes the resolution that you approved tonight, 2,061. So I think that we have done an excellent job with tree replacement. We should be proud of ourselves. And that concludes my report. Do we have any questions?
I don't have a question, comments though, Bob. I mean, I know that Ginger mentioned it, I know that Jeff has mentioned it, but I know we have residents that were just waiting for that playground to go up. So it's very heartening to finally see it go. And it turned out, actually, the colors, we had talked about that at the Old Parks Commission, and I think they're going to be really nice, stand out really nice in the park. So we've had people that have asked for the walking path, and I really think it's going to be a wonderful upgrade. So it's a very important part of our Old Town area there. So thanks, Bob. Appreciate all the pictures. So the update.
And my daughter's particularly happy that there are monkey bars. So.
Yeah.
Bob, with the rain garden, the plants that are going to be put in there are a variety of.
A wetland plant,
sorry?
wetland type plants. Kevin, am I accurate on that?
Yeah.
Native
Okay.
plants.
When you get the variety, can you send it to me?
You'll have them tomorrow.
Huh?
You'll have them tomorrow.
Oh, okay. And I'm sure Jelke's Creek would be interested in the plantings that are
Okay.
going in there.
We'll get that shipped to you tomorrow.
And Bob, how soon for the baseball field to be done?
I'm thinking that'll probably be an ongoing project.
June,
I
July?
hope to have this thing completed within the next couple months. Weather permitting,
Yeah.
however.
Can,
I just mentioned, I was out talking to residents over the weekend, and a few of them commented that the park didn't look very nice, but that's typical of any construction. It's not going to be nice looking until it's done. So be patient, and you'll see a beautiful park, especially once all the grass seeding is done and it all sprouts. That'll probably be the longest one, and be getting a real good crop of grass in there. Everything else will look fine as soon as it's finished, but the grass will be a little more challenging.
A little more challenging. We're talking about it today. We're probably going to put millions and millions and millions of gallons of water on that on the areas that need to be restored. So, it'll
Pat,
take a
did you have another comment?
just a quick question, and I think kind of for Paul, but I think we talked about it. I remember, Paul, when your son was more involved with the baseball, didn't you say they were kind of hoping that maybe that field would be accessible for, is that the Tri-Cities, am I thinking?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Tri-Cities and Meadowdale. Little
And
Leagues.
Meadowdale?
Yeah.
So that would be a place that they would travel and they would play, like at this ball field and then that ball field? And
They are looking for some tournament fields.
Are they?
And not only them, but there's some offshoots from that little league
Mm-hmm.
that would probably be interested in it. So it's a field similar, and I know Bob knows this, but it's a field similar to the one at Kemper Park
Okay.
with the
yeah.
overhang. So it's kind of one of those, I think they call them safety fields. So
Yeah.
it's good for softball. It's good for younger kids, baseball. And I believe we're going to have a fence in the outfield too.
Yeah, outfield fence,
which will
225
contribute,
to center field.
And
yeah.
even the bleachers, I think, would be nice for the folks. And so I don't know if you still talk to those
Oh, I do.
folks.
Yeah, they've already contacted us.
Oh,
like-
okay, all right. Then I was gonna say, give them an update, on what's going on. But because it's
Yeah,
been
I'm
a
gonna
while
reach
since
back
we
out to
talked about it, so.
Yeah.
But great. So
And one of the measures why we did put the outfield fence in was to promote tournaments within the Tri-Cities. And
yeah,
Meadowdale.
yeah, which is great.
We want to bring people to Carpentersville,
Yeah.
especially the park.
At the height of the Little League, there was probably around 700 games they had to schedule
Really.
over a 3 or 4 month period. So you can see it's quite an undertaking. So having Carpenter Park out of commission really hurt them.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob.
Thanks.
you.
Appreciate
Thank you,
your
Bob.
report. Well, we would move on to commissions and so forth. Pat, any report?
Well, I apologize. I got sick and I was not able to make our meeting. I don't want to put Ginger or Jeff on the spot, if you guys have anything you want to say. I do know the Arbor Day was an item that was discussed. Jeff, can you kind of reiterate what went on? I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
officiated my
I'm
first
sorry,
meeting.
he officiated.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yes. It was a good meeting. Basically, a lot of it was reviewing things from last year. We went through the holiday contest. We were very happy with the way the judging went, and it seemed to go a lot smoother this year. We did talk about the Arbor Day. We already have some organizations that are volunteering the trees and the bags and things. We're working on that. We have another meeting in March where we will get all the final details set up for the Arbor Day. It will have to be a little bit earlier on a Friday just because that school has a half day that day, but they didn't see it as a problem. And other than that, we're just excited that the park's going to reopen and we can use it. So.
Start scheduling events or new ideas.
And then we did approve the dates for the rest of the year, and it's always the third Wednesday. Is it third Wednesday?
For the parks,
For the parks, yeah.
parks, the special events?
event, yeah.
Yes.
Third
Mhm.
Wednesday of every
Yes.
month at 6:30 at Public Works.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeff. So, thanks,
Kevin.
Ginger.
Our next audit and finance meeting is on February 28th. It's at Public Works at 6:30, and the agenda just came out. Lots of good things to talk about, and the public is always welcome. I know we're kind of coming up on some election days here, so that always drums up a little bit more involvement from the community, which is excellent. It's a good opportunity to come out and see where our budget discussions originate and sort of the thought processes and the sort of pros and cons that go into all of the decisions that we make. So if you have the opportunity, I encourage you to come out. Again, that's Tuesday, February 28th at 6:30 at Public Works. On the docket, we'll be talking about public pensions, the costs associated with those, capital projects, Carpenter Park, of course, that's always on the agenda for all these meetings as well. We'll also be talking about our refuse contract, our garbage contract, the costs there and what we anticipate will happen in the future, what alternatives we may have there. We'll be talking water and sewer rates as we often do at these meetings, and then we'll also review the financials, which we always do. We always get a summary of where we're at versus the budget, ahead or behind. Make ourselves aware of any red flags that might be popping up as we move forward with the overall budget. So, good stuff coming up next week. Paul?
Looking forward to that Audit and Finance Commission meeting, Kevin. A lot of good information will be coming out at that meeting, especially for some of the things the residents are hearing and complaining to me about these days. So I'm looking forward to it a lot. As far as Business Development Commission, I still have some people down in Florida, one in Colorado. I can't get a quorum with my guys, so we're going to take off for February and shoot for March. We are kind of going through the new software that was provided by our Retail Strategies organization that's providing us information to help bring in more stores into the village. So as we go through that, it's very interesting to see what's available to us. But hopefully in March we will reconvene and start meeting again.
Thank you. I got a couple of them here. On February 16th, we had the C4, which is Carpentersville Community Coalition Cares. It's substance abuse prevention. We had a meeting on that day and really went over some our past, what we were doing last time we met, and kind of got a feel for all of that. And we we defined our values of compassion, teamwork, empathetic, respect, and empowerment. We kind of went over those a few more times to make sure we all were on the right page. Also, we looked at some of the data that we've been gathering from the area on the use of drugs and alcohol and tobacco products for the some of the schools in the area. And I tell you, there's some data there that would be, it's quite surprising, and how many students partake in the use of those bad things. So we got a lot of work to do to carry on, and we're moving forward. We also talked about more contacts that need to come in and meet with us and be at this meeting, possibly school board, teachers, anybody, any resident, anybody. I throw the welcome mat out to any of the trustees here. Our next meeting will be on March, what is it there? March what? I didn't get it in there.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's the second Thursday.
There it is. March 9th. March 9th, 2017. 7 o'clock at the Public Works facility. Please. Anybody that wants to show up can come. And we invite everybody, all the citizens, anybody. So we'll look forward to that. And then I had a Jelkes Creek Fox River Watershed Coalition meeting yesterday. There we discussed many items. The newsletter, which we put out just recently, and we'll have another one coming out in a while. This is the last one we had. It's a bad copy of it, but we send them out to residents, or not residents, but municipalities that are in the watershed, which includes east to west Dundee, Carpentersville, Algonquin, Sleepy Hollow. All those municipalities have like a point person that we send this to so they can keep up with what we're doing, because we are moving along at quite a clip now with regarding watershed signs. You'll be seeing some of those popping up here along Carpenter Creek, and like Carpenter Creek and Maple Avenue. We're going to have some signs there. I just met with Kevin Gray, Assistant Director of Public Works, and he's got the positions where we want these signs. So you'll see those popping up, and they're quite pretty. They're yellow and blue, and have a like a sunset thing to them, and also have the creek name on there, and and a website that you can go to see what Jelkes Creek Watershed is all about. We discussed our membership and stuff like that, and our membership is due again here soon, and I think Ed Sadlowski is taking care of that. So we're moving along, and that's all. Thank you.
Nothing at Quadcom?
No, Quadcom meeting tomorrow, actually. Tomorrow, so I'll have a report next time we meet.
Thank you. I guess that would conclude all our reports. We actually have no old business and no new business, so now we're right back to trustee reports, and we'll start with Paul this evening.
Just wanted to congratulate Kimball Farms for getting a 319 grant for their unincorporated area. I shouldn't say unincorporated. I guess that would be their common areas and their development. That's actually going to highlight, some of the plantings that are in there, other ecological restoration items that they've worked on. I just got notice tonight that, so I'm still kind of digesting the whole thing, but they do want to put up some signs, and they've reached out to us to ask for some assistance. I don't know exactly what they're looking for, so I need to have a conversation before I bring it to you guys to ask. So, but other than that, that's all I had for tonight. Thank you.
Just again, we're very happy Carpenter Park is finally underway, and I think thank God for this weather. It's moving around pretty quickly, so hopefully it'll be done sooner rather than later. Also wanted to point out that the League of Women Voters is hosting a candidate forum here at Village Hall on March 8th at 7 p.m. So come out, and if you have any questions for the candidates, that's a great time to ask before you vote. Thank you.
I was going to reiterate what Jeff said. It's great that we have the good weather here, and it sort of gets us ahead of the game a little bit with some of our capital improvement projects in Carpenter Park. So pretty excited to see that and to see our staff jumping all over it and taking care of it. So good news there. Thanks.
Just a little update on Foxview. We had a meeting there, had a nice room full of folks there that attended, and I think Mike was there too. It was a good meeting, actually. And so been working with the management company there to see what other resources we can bring down to the folks. And I met with the manager there and someone from the library. So I think they're going to do like a library card initiative, like an initiative, a drive. Then I think at that point we're going to see about either the library coming down, and they can have like a book club. They're kind of like a bookmobile they've got that they could do. But it's a good way to get things going. We know that the kids will. The summer is coming. They are kind of isolated down there. There's about 900 kids in that community, and so we're just kind of looking for ways to continue. Pastor Ball's church is always instrumental. He holds his Thursday free lunches and activities. He's going to probably have a summer kickoff, and we went down. They do the back to school thing, so we're working on some things to get down there, and of course. Want to work with Tina to get the word out, and whatever events we have in the park is that are free to the residents, and that we can try and get those folks to come down and enjoy them also. So working on that, and with that I was talking to them, and they have some split rail fence that's kind of fallen into disrepair, and it turns out that actually that particular area along the drive belongs to Habitat for Humanity. And I wasn't aware. Our office closed here in Old Town, and the office now the project's being handled out of Elgin. And I spoke with Jerry, and I'm afraid I'll mispronounce his last name. Very nice man. He's been there 2 years. I arranged for him to come down and meet with management at Foxview, take a look at that fence, and hopefully they can get it repaired. And in doing so, he and I had a nice conversation. I just wanted to reiterate something that he sent me. I did ask permission if we can get it up on our website, maybe our Facebook page. But I think a lot of us are aware, especially back in the Carpentersville Improvement Committee days, that there was Brush with Kindness, which is a program, an offshoot, and it was a little different than the Habitat where they were building and rehabbing. So they've got, that program is still going on. They are definitely open for anyone here that would like to submit an application from Carpentersville. He talked about their volunteers, and basically it's limited painting, landscaping that needs to be done, minor repairs, and it's a flat fee of $100 that's repaid by the homeowner upon completion of the work. So that program is still available. I bring this up now because it's nice weather, and I think we're all thinking, that it's getting to be that time. But I didn't realize they had another program called the Critical Home Repair. And so he sent me this information, explained it over the phone, and and I won't go through all of it because if we can get it out there, there are income qualifications that need to be met and a few other pieces of criteria. But basically, this would be if somebody needs health or safety code violation issues on the exterior or interior of their home, and they gave an example. So let's say that you needed a roof replacement, and you don't have the income, and so you applied for assistance, then basically the cost would be, if the roof repair is $3,000, the homeowner would only have to pay 25%, or $750, which is reasonable for a roof, if you've ever had to go through it. I know I have. And so they will work out all the particulars with the resident, and again, there's qualifications, but he did say they're very much still interested in Carpentersville, have some projects planned. If we knew of anything, to let him know. He and I have exchanged some emails. Very nice man, very anxious to get down by Foxview, so I wanted to kind of get this out tonight. And I know we could have a little bit of winter still, but, you know, it won't be too long, we'll think, in home improvement and for those that may be needed. So if we can, Village Manager, I would like to see if we can't get this up on our website. Mark's kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, is it okay? Okay, I thought you were deep in thought there. Yeah, so I know, I sent it to you, Kevin, if we could. That way, they list some of the criteria, and they can look it over, so, and it gives all the information. But anyway, I wanted to mention that, so, and get that out. So, and that would conclude my report. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mark. So,
For trustee reports, I'd just like to wish Terry happy retirement. We miss you. I know Ginger started crying over here, and I couldn't look at her because I'd start crying. But that's the kind of person Terry was or is. She makes a difference in all our lives, and we'll continue on. Also, I'd like to pat us on the back a little bit. During the consent agenda, there was something in there about replacing trees from our devastating EAB, emerald ash borer. Sorry, that devastated our trees in this community. And I remember thinking back to that Audit and Finance Committee. That's where it all came out. That's where we made all the decisions, and how important that committee is, and to have input from the residents. And Brad brought that forth. You know, we need to get on this right away. Brad McFadden, who was a former trustee and a member of the Audit and Finance Committee, and how we've continued on in that program. Because at first we're just like, whoa, where are we going to get all of this, all the funds to replace 2,000 or 2,100 trees or 2,200 trees, whatever it is there. And how we formulated the solution to that, and took our time, and you know, got all the studies done and all that information. But it brought us all together on that, you know, where we look at this, what's happening, and that's the way this body needs to operate, all together now. So kudos to all of us for getting that program started, and now it's just about coming to an end. So thank you. That's all.
69 trees left. I just want to thank Bob for the presentation tonight on the park. It's really exciting. This weather has just, I don't know, I'm in a much better mood. I don't know about everybody else, but it's got me going. And I know people are anxious to get over there in the park. I've put the pictures out on Facebook, and people are just, oh, so excited. When can we go out and play? And it's like, just be patient. Just give us a little longer. But I think it's going to look fabulous, and I'm so excited. I can't stand it. It's just been such a long, grueling process. The long anticipated, are we going to get the grant, or are, you know, what's going to happen? Are we only going to get a portion of it? And then we ended up getting the grant, and then boom, before we knew it, it was frozen and we couldn't do anything. And then all of a sudden it was lifted. Well, it wasn't all of a sudden. It was, what, 2 years? 2 years dragged by. And but then when they didn't give us much warning at all of a sudden we just got notified, hey, by the way, it's a go. And we went. And so it'll be really exciting because we have so many new events coming that we're talking about and trying to plan for the park. It'll be a fun summer, I think. So tell them to hurry up and get that done. Okay.
Well, let's see, a few things here. I regularly attend meetings for the Fox Sustainability or Fox River Sustainability Network. It's a large group of people that are trying to make good government and green efforts towards the environment compatible, because sometimes government only thinks about, you know, what's expedient, and green sometimes thinks only about the, you know. Anyway, it's really an interesting meeting, and I can't really describe it as well as I could, but it is very nice to see so many people interested not only in the environment but also in how the government can work with them instead of against them. Because for a long time, it just seemed like government and environment weren't really in the same sentence in a positive way. But we're trying to change that and make our efforts and their efforts coincide. I'm a member of a Northwest Municipal Conference Legislative Committee, and there are over 6,200 bills that were submitted to the Illinois legislature. As if they don't have anything else to do, they've got 6,200 bills, and there are always some of them that are of high interest to the village, and I think we narrowed it down to about 400. And between Northwest Municipal and the Illinois Municipal League, which are two separate groups, we're monitoring the bills and following through the legislature, and some of them have very significant impacts on the village, or could have if they were passed. So we have to keep our eye on that, or at least through our lobbyists, and they alert us, and then we do what we have to do to protect the village from some of the things that are unfunded mandates or burdensome regulations that would slow down the work of the villages. Also attended a meeting from the Kane County Chamber of, Northern Kane Chamber of Commerce. They have a monthly legislative meeting where we go over various things that might affect the village. All 5 of the towns in Kane County send representatives, and we talk about what kinds of businesses are coming into town and so forth and so on. It's usually a very informative meeting. I wanted to welcome Kelly here. It's her second day on the job, right? You started yesterday, came in on the holiday, and went to work. I'm sure we'll look forward to seeing you a lot. I know you've got that big spacious office to decorate. It is by far the smallest office in the entire complex, but does have a window,
really handy.
so yeah, that's good. And we also have a couple of Boy Scouts in here tonight. Would you like to introduce them for us, since Dad brought them?
That's right. This is Kevin Schneider. This is Zach Schneider, going for the citizenship merit badge.
Oh, nice.
Great. Thank you for bringing them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, the next thing would be closed session. We have sections 2C1, 2C2, and 2C11 of the Open Meetings Act. I would need a motion to go to closed session. Motion, Ginger.
Second.
Second, Paul. Any discussion? Might call a roll, please.
Trustee Humphord.
Yes.
Trustee Savi.
Yes.
Trustee Rayburn.
Yes.
Trustee Schultz.
Yes.
Trustee Burway.
Yes.
Trustee Stevens.
Yes.
We'll move to closed session to reconvene later for other village business.